California strip center trades around a 6% cap. The identical unanchored strip center in the southeast, Florida included, trades at 7.3. Same kind of asset, same tenants, same rent roll. But a dollar of net operating income buys you roughly 22% more property in Florida. I watch California equity land in Florida deals every quarter, and the math is not subtle. Here's why the smart money already moved, and here's the one risk nobody puts in the brochure. Start with the cleanest comparison in the data. Matthews tracked unanchored strip centers across the country in the first half of 2025. Out west, including California, those centers sold for $301 a square foot at a 6% cap. In the southeast, including Florida, the same product traded at $264 a foot on a 7.3 cap. Different price, very different yield. This is not a fundamental story, it is a pricing story. Run it per dollar of income, and the arbitrage gets loud. At a 6% cap, every dollar of NOI costs you $16.67 out west. At 7.3 in the southeast, that same dollar costs $13.70. Florida is roughly 22% cheaper for the exact same income. And vacancy, Florida growth metros run tighter, 3.2 to 3.9% versus 5.7 in Los Angeles. You're paying less for stronger occupancy. The yield gap is only half the story. California's own tax code is paying owners to leave. California taxes a capital gain as ordinary income up to 13.3%, the highest rate in the nation. Florida's state income tax is 0. Combine the federal layer and a California CRE gain can be taxed around 37% all in. Florida's state slice on that same gain is nothing. Here's the worked example. A $3 million property with a $1.2 million gain. Roll it into Florida through a 1031 exchange and you defer roughly $160,000 in California state tax alone, on top of more than $240,000 in deferred federal. The Tax Foundation ranks Florida 5th in the country for tax competitiveness. California ranks 48th. The honest nuance for sellers, California's Form 3840 clawback still recaptures that state tax when the replacement property eventually sells. Look inside Florida and the picture sharpens. Orlando blends to about a 6.7 cap with rents up 5.4% year over year. Tampa rents climbed 35% over 5 years, leading the nation. Miami-Dade is the tightest at a 5.8 cap, but rents there are already softening. That's priced for perfection. Orlando and Tampa offer the better yield to fundamentals. Now, the part most videos get wrong. This is not a record head count story. Florida's net domestic migration collapsed about 93% from 310,000 in 2022 to just 22,000 in the latest year. So be honest about that. The defensible thesis is different. The wealth and the businesses keep flowing in even as raw headcount cools. Florida gained $20.6 billion in adjusted gross income in the latest IRS data. California lost $11.9 billion, the biggest loser in the country. Florida led all 50 states in consumer spending growth at 7% and formed more new businesses than anyone. Rooftops follow people, retail follows rooftops. Grocery, quick service, and convenience tenants absorbed about 11.5 million square feet in 2025 alone. The marginal buyer is private capital, roughly 71% of net lease retail dollars, much of it 1031 money actively hunting, and 3 catalysts just stacked up. Permanent 100% bonus depreciation signed in July 2025. Florida's repeal of its commercial rent sales tax effective October 1st, 2025. the only such tax in the country, gone. And the bid-ask spread has narrowed to 23 basis points, so quality deals finally clear. A California billionaire wealth tax measure on the November 2026 ballot only adds urgency for high net worth capital. Now, pay off that open loop. Florida insurance is real, and it lands almost dollar for dollar on NOI. The Federal Reserve found owners absorb about 72 cents of every dollar of insurance increase. Named storm deductibles run 2 to 10% of insured value. On a $2 million building at 5%, that's $100,000 out of pocket before any payout. The fair framing. Florida's crisis appears to have peaked and is reforming. Requested rate hikes fell from 21% to 0.2%, while California's wildfire crisis is still escalating, with the first ever billion-dollar fair plan assessment. But commercial relief lags residential, and one bad landfall could re-spike rates. Concede the other side too. The spread is partly priced in. Florida strip pricing already jumped 15% year over year, and California's Inland Empire caps compressed about 120 basis points in a single year. The arbitrage is narrowing from both ends. Late movers capture less. So the trade is open, but it is closing from both ends. The question is which side of it you're standing on. For California sellers, this is an exit case, and the tax code is doing the math for you. $1 million of NOI at a 6 cap is a $16.7 million sale. Redeploy it into a Florida 7.3 cap, and that same income costs about $13.7 million, freeing roughly $3 million in buying power. Run the hold versus sell math honestly, because Prop 13's low locked-in basis is a legitimate reason some owners stay. For Florida buyers, this is an entry case. Underwrite the post-reform insurance run rate, not the 2022 peak. Favor essential retail in Orlando and Tampa over priced-up Miami, and weight credit and term. 15-year leases price near 6.1%. versus 7.7 for 5 years or less. So here's the honest takeaway. The spread is real, the tax math is real, and the window is open, but it's narrowing from both ends. Whether you should actually move depends on your basis, your timeline, and your cost of capital. So run those numbers before anyone tells you what to do. If it helps to put real submarket data behind your decision, the Florida cap rate breakdown is on my site. I'm Ryan Solberg with MaxLife Commercial. Whatever you decide, decide it on the math.